Every town has a ghost story that's been passed down through the generations. But what if those legends were true? My name is Miranda Young, and I'm the Ghost Biker. Hey everyone, happy Thursday, happy September 14th. I am the Ghost Biker and you're watching the Ghost Biker Garage Live. We are here at the historic Scott County Jail, very haunted historic Scott County Jail. And we've got a great show planned for everybody tonight, but just want to kind of come on, talk a little bit about some of the cool things that we've got going on. Here we are mid-September already, and we're working on Ghost Biker Exploration Season 6, which is going to come out here during the first Tuesday night in October, and then also just a lot of events that we've been talking about for the last couple months. We're just weeks away, and in some cases days away from some of these events. So just want to take a few minutes, say hello to the people who are on here before we start talking about these events. I want to say hello to my best friend and business partner, Dr. Christy Sumner. Thank you so much for tuning in tonight. Mr. Ronnie Anderson from Bedford Paranormal, and Mr. Daryl Paulette from in Virginia. Hello, everyone. And again, thank you all so much for tuning in tonight. So just want to go ahead, talk about some really cool things that we've got going on here. I know if you all have been following the pages, you've been seeing us blast a lot of things out about stuff that's going on with the jail, and also things that are going on with Ghost Biker events that are coming up. Coming into spooky season, there's pretty much something going on every weekend, and pretty much every night of the weekend as we roll through the end of September and October. So we do have all of our different flashlight tours and guided ghost hunts and stuff out with the historic Scott County Jail and with Rugby After Dark. But I just wanted to take a few minutes and talk about something that we've got going on this weekend that is involving the jail here. It is I believe it's the 31st annual Haunting in the Hills Storytelling Festival with the Big South Fork that is located here in Scott County. But this event is going to take place over at Bandy Creek, and we had a table set up there last year, and it was so much fun. It goes on all day long. We're going to have a table that will be there in the field right there near the big tent where they do the storytelling festival, and they're going to have food. They've got vendors. They've also got some amazing storytellers from all around the country that's there sharing their stories. During the day, it's more of the folksy type storytelling. And then, of course, after it gets dark, that's when they start telling more of the spooky stories. So we're very, very excited to be a part of that event. I will have a table there with the historic Scott County Jail and Rugby After Dark. And you can find more information on that if you go to, if you just type in Haunting in the Hills Storytelling Festival, or you can go to the nationalparkservice.gov and then go to the Big South Fork page and type in the storytelling option there. So they've got a lot of really cool places where you can find that. So that's going on there. Also here at the jail, we're bringing back our ghost walks here in Huntsville that starts with an hour-long tour of Huntsville, where we tell some of the haunting history, and then it ends with a flashlight tour here of the jail, where we share the history as well as some of the paranormal findings from here at the jail. That's going on Saturday night. We do have a few tickets available. I think we've got 5 tickets available for that. We did just open up our schedule for October with our haunted history ghost walks as well. So we only do those seasonally. We actually won awards for them last year. So by popular demand, we have those back, and it's going to be running through the month of October. So you can see our page there if you go to either the Historic Scott County Jail Facebook page, website, or you can go in to our website, and it's historyhighwayshaunts.com, and that's got links to our Rugby After Dark page, as well as our historic Scott County Jail page. Also, some really cool things that we've got going on here with Ghost Biker. We've been talking about these for the last 2 months. And if you're going to get tickets for these, you need to go ahead, get those tickets now. We've got the paranormal event that benefits Sacred Mountain Retreat Center in Deadwood, South Dakota, known as the Spirits of Deadwood. And that's going to take place September 29th and 30th. And with this event, it is a full weekend event. On Saturday night, we're going to be, actually, there are some, I think there's maybe dinner, cocktail hour on Friday night. And then on Saturday night, we are going to be investigating the historic Bullock Hotel, the brothel Deadwood, and then the Fairmont Hotel. And then throughout the day, we're going to be having historical tours, gallery readings. Mary Lynn is going to be there doing her intuitive paintings. Got a lot of things planned for that day. I know I'm going to have Ghost Biker merchandise out there, and I know that Rex and Mary Lynn and Searchers, they're going to have equipment. They're going to have some of their different things out there, that merchandise and such that they're going to be selling out there. So all of that is, is going to be there out in South Dakota. Like I said, September 29th and 30th, there are tickets still available, and they've got a lot of different packages that you can do. So if you go and visit sacredmountainretreat.org, you can find this information. We do have those links in the show notes. We'll also put them there in the comments section so that you can find them. But it's got the event pricing. You can either do it by the general admission and individual pricing there, or you can get the Friday and Saturday night hotel packages. Those do include the hotel as well as the investigations. And then, of course, the VIP, it does the hotel package for Friday and Saturday night. And then it's also got some special VIP things, which would be dinner and cocktail hour and private gallery readings, all kind of really cool things. They've done a really good job of putting these packages together. So definitely go in and check that out. Come see us in Deadwood, South Dakota, and be a part of this really cool event that benefits a great cause for our veterans, first responders, and Gold Star families that Sacred Mountain Retreat works so hard to create programs for that. Also, want to make sure to mention we are selling out of tickets really quick on this. It is the Hogs and Haunts Ghost Biker Explorations Weekend that's going to be in London, Kentucky. It's a co-sponsorship between myself, Wildcat Harley Davidson, and London Laurel County Tourism Commission out of London, Kentucky. This weekend, this is the second annual event, takes place October 14th and 15th, and it's going to start with a free meet and greet at Wildcat Harley Davidson from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Eastern Time there in London, Kentucky. We got some really cool things. We're going to have food. We're also going to have a lot of great stuff. May even be releasing some video there with from Ghost Biker there during the meet and greet, and that will take place from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Wildcat Harley Davidson. You don't have to ride a motorcycle. You don't have to be a paranormal investigator, but come on out and join us there at the meet and greet. And then at 7 p.m., we're going to be doing the investigation, and that's going to be taking place at an undisclosed cave there in southern Kentucky. We can't really say where this is going to be taking place at, but we are limiting the number of people that's going to be able to participate in this to 15. And I know that we did just sell several tickets today for that, so I'm not sure how many exactly we have left, but I know that we anticipate this cave investigation to sell out. 100% of the funds goes to the London Laurel County Shop with a Cop program. Again, here in the rural Appalachians, sometimes that's the only Christmas that some of these kids have. So again, 100% of those funds go to the London Laurel Shop with a Cop program, and that's going to be for that investigation. And then we're going to round out the weekend with a haunted motorcycle ride that is going to be led by myself. We're going to be meeting at Wildcat Harley Davidson at noon on Sunday, October 15th. It's going to be kickstands up at 1 p.m. and it's going to be about a 3 to 4 hour motorcycle ride. It's a fall foliage ride, And I know we've only got 5 spots left for that. This is a free motorcycle ride, and I know that Harley Davidson is given it's actually a patch ride. And so they're going to be given a patch to everyone that attends the event. So we've got a lot of really cool things planned. And then also, if you're coming for the event, you don't have to be participating in every single thing. Hello, Sally. You just have to be participating, or you just have to be participating in one and staying at a local hotel in London, Kentucky. We're trying to promote local tourism. And so if you bring your receipt from your hotel stay, we are giving away a swag bag that has some things, some Ghost Biker Exploration stuff in there, something from Wildcat Harley Davidson, and also London, Kentucky Tourism Commission. So definitely, if you have any questions about any part of this Hogs and Haunt weekend, because we got something for everyone, please feel free to reach out. We're going to be releasing some videos and some more information about all this coming soon. But we do have the links in here where you can go in. You can actually donate if you can't attend the event, but you've got to actually register for, if you're doing the investigation, not doing the ride, we've got individual links where you can register for each. And then one last thing before we get to tonight's guest, we have let me make sure to pull it up here. We've got the Tennessee Haunts and Legends Expo, and that's going to be taking place October 21st from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. Central Time. And that's going to be taking place at the Nashville Fairgrounds. Both Christy and I will be attending this event. We're going to be talking about rugby. We're going to be talking about the historic Scott County Jail. I'll be talking about Ghost Biker Explorations, and Christy's going to be talking about Soul Sisters Paranormal. So we're very excited to be part of this event. I know they've got over 60 vendors that's going to be here. Tickets are $10 each. 12 and under are free. And so we will have more information about this. Eric Freeman Sims is the one that's putting this event on. And I know he's been working really hard at this. So we're very excited and honored to be a part of that. So, like I said, a whole lot going on. Thank you all for sticking with us. We will be throwing some different links up in the comment section as we go throughout. And I will be getting with you guys, manning the comment section here for any questions or anything that you guys have. If you don't mind, because it is just me moderating the comments and talking to our guest. If you don't mind, if you have any questions, please send us your questions, but please, if you will, put them in all caps so that I make sure that I don't miss you guys. But I want to go ahead and get to tonight's guest because, she's a very, very busy lady. And I'm very excited that she's coming on tonight to talk about her background in the paranormal, as well as all the different events that she's got going on. My guest tonight is Miss Jenn Jacobs. She's been in the paranormal field professionally for over a decade, but has been an experiencer since she was young, having had her first experience at 4 years of age. Not only does Jenn research and investigate haunted locations, but she also investigates cryptids and has been the Indiana chapter director of NADP, which is the North American Dogman Project, since 2016, along with being the founder of Eclipse Paranormal. During the year, along with her team, she holds multiple public investigations, 3 annual conferences and conventions, the Women of the Paranormal Celebration, the Men of the Paranormal Convention, and a brand new for 2024 Lake Erie ParaFest, which is home to I cannot read tonight, which is home. The home will be in Sandusky, Ohio. In between all of this, she's the team lead and admin for the Global Ghost Hunt, which we are airing live on Parapost International. So again, thank you guys. And we will be talking a little bit more about this Global Ghost Hunt coming up. But I want to go ahead and bring Jenn on so she can better introduce herself and talk about some of the cool things that she's got going on. So if you will, help me and welcome Miss Jenn Jacobs.
Hello. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Thank you for coming on with me tonight. I hope you're doing well.
I'm good. A little tired. How are you?
I'm doing great. Jenn. And again, anyone, if you have any questions over here, please feel free to comment. I'm seeing you all saying hello and everything, but I want to go ahead and have Jenn talk about, you've been in the paranormal for a long time.
Yeah. Professionally, I've been in it for over 10 years, but I've seen things since, like you said, 4 years old I started.
Wow, I would imagine that was pretty intense and creepy experiencing things as a child.
Um, I just remember I was in my mom's bedroom and I looked out the window, and what I know now, it was an elemental spirit looking back at me. And to me at that age, it looked like a little tree with eyes, and its arms were limbs.
Wow.
And after that, my grandparents, actually, their old farmhouse, if you would go upstairs, you could feel the energy up there. And my aunt and I still talk about it. And she goes, "Oh, can you just imagine sleeping up there where your bedroom was?"
Wow.
So it started at that age.
And what area would that be in?
It's up here in northern Indiana.
Okay.
Yeah.
I have to say, and I don't know if this is a coincidence, but from all my travels, Indiana has some of the most strangest hauntings that I've ever experienced.
I we got a lot of stuff here that's different. I can say that.
And out of everywhere that I've gone, they've always had either the most interesting or the most unexplained hauntings.
And see, I think Ohio's like that. I
I can
love
see
it.
that
I
too.
love going to Ohio. And
I've been
obviously with Sandusky, but
exactly. So
yeah.
when did you was your family accepting of the things, or did you just kind of keep all of that to yourself that you were experiencing?
Well, my aunt used to see things. My mom's sister. My mom told me I was making it up. My grandma said the same thing. But the funny thing is, it's been, my daughter's 15, so she was probably 2, 3. So it's been over 10 years ago. My
Okay.
mom, my mom calls me in the middle of the night and she's like, "I just saw something in the living room. It looks like a raccoon." I said, "Did you leave the garage door open or the patio door open?" She's like, "No, it just walked across in front of my entertainment center and disappeared." And
Wow.
and the first thing out of my mouth was, I said, "But I didn't think you believed in anything like that." I don't, but that was just really weird. So that's my mom for you. Now, my dad's side, my grandma, I don't know for sure. I think she was a granny witch to a point,
Okay.
and she used to talk to spirits. And my uncle was born with a veil.
Okay.
And right before I had no, it was 2003. I had my oldest kiddo in 2003.
Mhm.
My grandma was sitting on her porch. She's from Kentucky, and my mom's mom is from West Virginia. So she's sitting on her porch, and she sees this cloaked figure walk up to her, and it tells
Mm.
her there's going to be 3 deaths in the family. Her sister passed away. My cousin supposedly committed suicide, and then that was in December. Her sister passed away in like June, July. And the following year, my aunt passed away in like February or March. When my uncle had a car accident, he hit the side of a mountain, and she said there was a black cloud that overcome her, and she passed out the exact moment that the car hit the mountain.
Wow. Yeah, it sounds like she definitely had some spiritual gifts for sure.
Oh yeah, my aunts have it, my uncles have it. It's passed down to me, my kids have it.
Wow. So you've been accepting of that and
Yeah,
used that in your investigations, or I guess furthered your interest.
yeah, it sure did. And I remember in high school, I don't remember if it was my junior or senior year. And this is way before computers. You know, we
Mhm.
still pecked on the typewriters. And I remember my junior or senior year that I actually wrote my English paper, my final English paper on Bigfoot.
Okay.
So I've always been interested in anything and everything with the paranormal.
That was gonna be my next question. Did the paranormal come first or the cryptid side?
This is a funny story too, because when that same house I saw that elemental in,
Mhm.
I would, this is kind of funny, I would dream that Bigfoot was standing at the end of my bed.
Oh, wow.
So I really don't know. I think they came at the same time.
Okay.
But
I always love it when investigators fall into both sides, the cryptid and the paranormal, because it always seems like so often, you have your cryptid side and your
mhm.
paranormal, but you seem to be heavily involved with both.
And the funny thing is, the guy that, well, hello, Brian. Jody, who's the founder of the NADP,
Mhm.
we've asked him to go ghost hunting. He's like, nope, I will not do that. I will go in the woods all day long, but I will not step foot in a haunted location, which I think is kind of funny. But you'll go deal with things in the woods that
Right.
touch you, but you won't go in a haunted place that you could get touched. Okay,
I guess it's the things you can see versus the things you can't.
I guess.
So, Chris asks, when did you form Eclipse Paranormal?
It actually started out with a different name, and I actually founded it back in 2013, and then I just changed the name to something
Okay.
different. I started out with a local team in Fort Wayne, Indiana,
Mhm.
and there was just too much drama. So I was like, to hell with this. I'm going to start my own team. I was running that team within 6 months,
Oh, wow. Okay.
and I quit and started my own.
Did you do a lot of residential or did you stick to mostly commercial?
At first, we did residential, and I've kind of gotten away from that.
Yeah.
I do more of the well-known locations now, or even like
Yeah.
there's an old haunted jail here about 30 minutes from me,
Mhm.
and the place is amazing, but you can't get in there anymore. One of the sisters passed away, and then the other one, she was going to do it for a while. She did it for a while, and then she wasn't able to. She had other stuff going on. But
Mhm.
there's really small places that are great, and like the larger places, like Ohio State Reformatory is one of my favorite places ever.
Yeah.
So I like the big places, I like the little places. But the last residential we did it in for me, the last couple. The one lady, she didn't give us time to figure out what was going on. She brought another team in,
Mhm.
and they told her to bless her own holy water, and it made a lot of things worse.
Yeah.
And she wanted us to clean up the mess. I said, I don't know what they've told you to do. I don't know what you've done. I said,
Mhm.
so you're going to have to get them in here since you took their advice.
Mhm.
I said, I don't know exactly what all they've told you to do or what they've done for you.
Yeah, and residentials are tough anyways. I'm like you with the team I used to be a member of. We did a lot of residentials, especially down in the Chattanooga and the North Georgia area. We did a lot of those, but once you start getting into residentials, it's such a different beast, and you are dealing with people, and there's just so much liability and so
Mm-hmm.
many things. And as myself, I'm a solo investigator, so I'm very particular about what cases that I take on too, just for the safety reasons.
Yep.
And I'm talking to more and more teams that are really kind of they either 100% specialize in residential or they're kind of
Mm-hmm.
getting away from that.
Well, that was one of the last ones we did. The very last one I did, the gentleman kept telling us that he kept hearing people scream. He would see shadows walk in front of his windows, and the walls were super thin in
Mhm.
his apartment. He had probably 10 bottles of prescription pills he was on.
Mhm.
His red eyes was the reflection of his alarm clock. And the black shadow he would see, there was the light outside his apartment, and there was a walkway between it.
Mhm.
So you would see shadows, and the ground did vibrate because he lived near a highway. And he called me and left a voicemail. I wouldn't answer the phone. It was like early in the morning. And
Mhm.
he recorded a movie of a woman screaming and said that was in his apartment.
Oh, wow.
So that one just kind of, after that, I was like, no, I can't do this anymore.
Mhm. And that's the thing, I was talking to one of my best friends that does, or she did, a residential not too long ago, and she had specific instructions of, this is what you need to do after she had investigated, and she had the hardest time. People, they didn't want to stop, after things had, they wanted to continue to investigate, I guess, themselves and stir things up, and was calling in the middle of the night. And it was just, you do essentially become these people's lifeline.
Mhm.
And like you said, a lot of the time when you're able to essentially debunk something, people tend to, they don't like that, even though they want the help.
Mhm.
They might not necessarily like what they hear, and are convinced it's something more than what it is.
I agree. My friend Barb, she lives down about an hour north of Louisville, and she would get phone calls at like 2, 3, 4 in the morning from people.
Yeah.
And she's like, I just can't deal with this anymore. And
I had somebody, actually, they had reached out to me over my website, and they actually went to the police station across the road from the jail here. They went to dispatch, trying to locate me after I had sent them an email to try to find out more information. They went across the street, and while I was not working that day, Chris was here. One of the dispatch, actually, it was one of the detectives, came over and said, "You need to have Miranda call this person because they're having activity in their home." And it was like, now, wait a minute. I had already even told her I told her that I don't deal with residentials, but was trying to get more information to pass her along to somebody else.
right.
And once he started asking more probing questions, um, they just dropped off the face of the earth. But then it made me nervous that they were actually going to the police station to try to locate me, because they said they were getting activity in their home, was what they told the police officer.
That's scary.
Yeah.
And how do you know society's gotten worse.
Mhm.
And how do you know these people aren't just saying that, and you bring 2 or 3 people in and you don't know what's going to happen in that house?
No.
I
No.
mean, and that's another thing, security, safety.
Mhm.
And, and some of these people, I don't want to sound mean when I say it, so how should I say this? It's not always paranormal.
Yeah. A lot of the time it's not.
Yeah. So who's to say they won't have an episode
Mhm.
and lose it while you're there? Or you tell them there's nothing there and they lose it.
Mhm. And I'm looking at the comments over here. It appears everyone else is echoing the sentiments there, that either they don't do investigations or private cases like they used to. And like Ronnie said, it is, they're a big liability now if
Oh,
you're not
yeah.
careful. Um,
One of
so
my other fears was that we would go in and somebody would say we stole some stuff.
that was gonna be my other comment too. You
Yep.
have to be careful, because you
Yeah.
are going into these homes.
And I actually have had people ask me, do I need to leave? No, this is your house. You
Mhm.
live with this. You
Mhm.
can trigger it, but
Mhm.
The real reason is because I don't want to be left alone in your house. You could say I did anything.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
and that was one of my big things, and why nope, no more residentials.
Mm-hmm. I know for me, it's one of those, either I know the person that's reached out
Yep.
and, I will help someone in that instance. But as far as people either want, and I don't highlight residentials on my show. Sometimes people want me to come and do it because they'll think I'll highlight it on the show. And I don't do that because it's purely for other reasons. And, most of the time I'll interview, but then I'll pass along to somebody else and let them see if they want to take it on. They deal 100% with residentials and nothing else. So I just don't, I can't take that on in that capacity.
And I've noticed I've had a few emails, not lately, crossing my fingers, but the last few emails I've gotten, they're like, you need to call me. I'm having activity. Here's my phone number. And like you said, you'll ask questions and then they'll like get aggressive.
Yeah.
I'm not going to give you my phone number. I'm
No.
not going to call you until I feel comfortable, because I don't think you need my phone number until we get to that point. Email's just fine until
Yes.
then. And they don't like to do that either.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people don't.
No. And that's, like I said, I was communicating by email and that person literally went to the police station to try to find me. And once I started asking more questions, it was like they just disappeared. So Chris asks, she says, what keeps you passionate about the paranormal?
I've tried to walk away a couple times. No, it never lasted. I actually did take a break for a couple months. It was May and June. I've been slowly coming back around.
Mm-hmm.
But I've tried to walk away, and then I actually kind of miss it. I don't miss the drama,
Right.
but I miss the people that I talk to. I miss the people I associate with. And I was told I needed to come back by several people.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I'm back.
Well, we're glad to have you back, and let's kind of get into talking about some of these different projects that you've got, because, in the intro here, we talked about how you've got these 3 conventions that you do, and I know how much time it takes to put these together. These are like a year in the planning.
Oh, yeah.
So let's kind of talk about the I think this is the next big one you have coming up. The Women of the Paranormal Celebration.
That one will be in March, right down the road from you and Chris.
Yeah.
In Harriman, we'll be having the speakers, which Chris will be one of those.
Mm-hmm.
And we're just going to have it at, is it Temperance Hall? For some reason, I keep thinking Gates Hall.
Temperance.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know where I got Gates Hall at. I don't know. Maybe Josh Gates. I have no idea. I don't know where I got that. But the speakers will be there. The vendors tables and the speakers tables will be across the street at the old hospital. And they'll just be going back and forth. When it's time to speak, they'll be going over there and then they'll come back.
Mm-hmm.
We're also doing a benefit, and I've been trying to reach out since May to McNabb Center for Domestic Violence and the Sexual Assault Center of East Tennessee.
Yeah.
That's who we'd like to donate to. I've been trying to reach out to them since May. I have not got a response yet, so I don't know. Maybe we can just go dump the stuff off we get. We're going to take donations for sexual assault and domestic violence victims, because, sometimes they leave in the middle of the night in the middle of winter. Kids don't have shoes. Baby has one diaper.
Mm-hmm.
No clothes, no coats, nothing.
Wow.
And, and we're going to have women. I just think about how horrible it is. I've been through it, not in the middle of the night, but I've been there. We're going to collect non-perishable donations for them, like women, they need toiletries, which is a great thing to have and collect, and feminine products, toiletries, baby items, boots. Kids would need boots. I don't know how cold it gets down there in the winter. I know how cold it is up here. We get the air from Canada off of the lakes. We get the lake effect snow here. That's how close I am. So it gets kind of nasty at times. But yeah, kids need coats, boots, you know, anything and everything. And some of these women just leave the house without hardly anything on their back. They don't have time to pack a bag, and they just run. So we're going to hold a non-perishable donations for them. We're asking for that. We're going to have speakers on Saturday. On Sunday, we're going to have Psychic Sunday. And it's going to be metaphysical workshops and psychic medium galleries.
Okay.
And Saturday night, we're going to investigate Brushy Mountain Prison. And Sunday, we're going to investigate the hospital. And the big highlight of Saturday is that we're going to have a domestic violence panel for about an hour and a half. It's going to be led by my friend Tracy. She's a forensic RN that has volunteered and worked with these ladies in these shelters since she was a teenager.
Wow.
And we were talking on the phone, not last night, but the night before. We talked for about 2 hours. And she said when she was working in the ER with these gals that these husbands would come in, and she's been punched in the face before by them, trying to get to their wives. And they demand that I am going to go get my wife. And she's like, no, you're not. And she's been punched. She's been spit on, hit. It's crazy. But, you know, that's violence.
Yeah.
And we're going to have sexual assault victims come on. So this will be virtually.
Okay.
So we'll be airing it virtually. Tracy is in Illinois. My friend is going to be speaking as well. On the panel, my friend's mom just asked if she could put her story out. And this is kind of a crazy coinkydink here. She was telling me she just did her mom's oracle card reading. And it says something about public speaking in her future. And then she started telling her about the women's event. And she's like, my mom wants to speak at this and tell her story and share it with other women. I was like, that's crazy. So things work out. Like you said, Chris will be there on Sunday or Saturday. We have Ashley Hilt. Her husband is the Mothman. She actually did. She was the all I can think of is host, but she had another title for it for the Frogman Festival over in Loveland, Ohio.
Okay.
He was like, what is it, the MC of ceremonies or something like that. She was the ringleader. We'll put it like that for the day.
Okay.
She's going to be speaking about cryptids. We have Mary Fabian. She runs the Pennsylvania Bigfoot Project. So she's my Bigfoot gal for it. I have no idea what all Ashley's going to talk about. But like I said, her husband's the Mothman. She loves her. She loves her some Mothman. And then we have Jenny. She is going to be speaking about pre-bunking.
Okay.
It's really interesting. She has a degree in, I believe it's physics from Rutgers. And she's actually going back to Yale right now.
Wow.
So she's going to bring the scientific side to it.
I love that. I love that it sounds like you've got such a well-rounded group, diverse group that's going to be there speaking, and women, no doubt. You know, The women, and I'm not one of those people that says women don't get a lot of love in the paranormal, but when it comes to views and stuff, they just don't seem to get the views that the men gets. And so it's wonderful that you've got this platform set to have these educated and well-spoken women out there sharing what they do to other people in the community.
Thank you. Thank you. For Psychic Sunday, we're actually going to have Catherine Cirillos. I don't know if she's going to be here in person. And if she can't make it in person, she's going to do her gallery reading all the way from Greece.
Oh, wow.
And then Angela will be with us virtually doing her workshop and readings. And Holly's not going to be able to come. She's on a sabbatical right now, so we're looking to fill her spot. But Yaya is going to do a workshop on Southern folk magic.
Oh, that'll be interesting.
Yeah, I'm so looking forward to it.
Where is she out of?
New York. Her and Angela are out of New York.
Okay.
Yep. So.
And that one's going to be taking place. Is that taking place at Brushy, or is that all virtually?
It's that's a good question now for Psychic Sunday, because if Angela's not going to be able to be there, she has a new job. Yaya, I don't think I don't know. Hopefully Catherine can make it here.
Nice.
So,
yeah.
That would be nice to have her here in person. But I just need one more person for that day. But that will take place at Temperance Hall too.
Okay. So all the speaking is taking place there at Temperance Hall.
Yep. And the vendors and speakers will have their tables across the street.
Okay.
And then like for the team leads, the one gal is no longer with us. Stephanie is no longer with us, but the other girls, they all come from different teams. It's just bringing women together from all fields, all different teams. It's a community event.
And I mean, you can't beat Harriman Hospital and Brushy Mountain. I mean, those are, just such great locations. Each one of them are anywhere from 40 to 45 minutes from here at the jail. And it's wonderful to be surrounded by such great locations with such a wonderful reputation in the field with, Ronnie D. And then of course, Pete and Brian that own Brushy. It's just, two great locations. You couldn't have picked two better places to host the event.
I'm looking forward to it. And I plan to visit you and Chris too.
Yeah. I hope
investigate.
Yeah, hope you make it down. I would love to see what you capture here at the jail. Like I said, we're with us, and then of course Historic Rugby, which is only 20 minutes from here, and then we're just 40 minutes from both Harriman and from Brushy. So we always hope when people come down and check out those locations that they'll stop by and see us as well, make a full weekend of it.
Maybe we can do a late night tour one night.
Yeah, absolutely.
I just want to come meet the cat. That's really what I want to do.
Yeah, and she never does this, but she is laying here all passed out. She never does that. She's always trying to get on the screen there. But as Chris says, that would be fun. And I love Ronnie's comment. Isn't it wonderful how the paranormal field is doing things for a great cause? Now men can attend the event, correct?
Oh yeah. It's just the first couple times I was like, okay, I do want all female speakers, all female team lead. And like we were talking about earlier, women don't get as much.
They don't get as much representation.
Yeah, just like on the TV shows, they're always sidekicks or anything. So, and I have had a lot of guys say, hey, if it wasn't for you gals, we wouldn't get any evidence.
There you go.
And so I'm like, okay, why not do an event for all women, have them as speakers, team leads. I was gonna have them all vendors, but I'm having a hard time even like getting women interested at a point. And I thought, well, I'll just open it up to men and women vendors, still keep the speakers and team leads. We decided to have two different groups of investigators. We'll have two groups of, or a group of mixed men and women,
Okay.
and then just all women. Because I've actually had some ladies, and even when I interviewed them
Mm-hmm.
for positions with this event, they said that they won't investigate with men anymore. And I had a couple of them tell me, even on their own team, they were groped by their team members and their booties were grabbed and stuff.
Wow.
So there's a lot of women that are like, nope, don't want to go in the dark with the man again.
Wow. Well, and we've seen a lot of, we see a lot of teams that come through here. We've had, just over 125 teams investigate the jail here. And it's always cool to see the different mixes of people
Mhm.
and the type of evidence they capture. And it always seems like the teams that are all female or have a higher percentage of females, and really smaller teams tend to do better here at the jail too. But the females, they tend to get a lot of great activity here.
I believe it. At
Yeah.
the jail that I was talking about earlier, it's about 30 minutes from me.
Mm-hmm.
There's a gentleman, oh God, I don't know. We investigated back there in like 2011 the first time.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a man, his name's Pete. He's a black guy. He was drug outside and lynched.
Okay.
And he is still there. And every time I go, he follows me around. We did, I don't know, it's been probably a good 5 years ago. We did a Halloween event where there's actually a haunted tour company. So they did their tour and then we investigated the jail.
Okay.
And the sisters did like a demonstration and investigated with us that ran it.
Mm-hmm.
And they said, Pete, are you behind Jenn? Are you standing beside of her? Everything on that table lit up.
Oh, wow.
So it's just crazy. Like you make connections with spirit there. And there's a young girl that was in her early 20s, Annie, that she had an affair with a married man. She wrote a check on her dad's account. Her dad put her in jail to teach her a lesson. And the guy was out and he followed her to the bathroom outside the outhouse and shot her out there. And she's still at the jail too. And she loves my friend Tamala's nephew. We could see her reaching towards him one night. You could see her hand and his hair. He said his hair was moving. And we've asked her before if she likes him. And we've asked her if she thinks he's cute. And she'll answer yes.
Oh, that's cool.
And the gals that run it or did run it, they would ask her all kinds of questions, and they said that they've sat in there themselves just by themselves, and she's answered questions when they've asked, do you like the way women dress today? I guess she absolutely loves the way we dress.
Oh, wow.
She loves the hair and the nails and all that.
What is her time frame that she's from?
Late 1800s, early 1900s.
Okay.
Yeah, this place is old, but it's cool.
Wow. I mean, what a horrible way to go, and especially to be taught a lesson, and that happened. But I agree with what Vicky says. It really is awesome that she comes around. She probably really enjoys interacting with you all just for that reason.
And there's a gentleman that his daughter accused him of molesting her, and he hung himself in his jail cell. And we have footage of an SLS camera. It looks like a body is swinging on the door.
Oh, wow.
And I cannot remember his name, but one of the gals I investigated with, she's an older lady. She's really pretty. She's from Germany. She does her hair. She has perfect hair, makeup, and he absolutely loves him some Yuta. Oh, let me tell you, he would not talk to anyone one night unless it was her. I mean, we would ask questions, nothing. She would ask it, everything would light up.
Oh, wow.
And we asked him if he thought she's pretty, and oh yeah, he did. But it's really funny. It's things like that are funny, but they were alive at one time. So
Mm-hmm.
that's just, funny things like that, sad things.
Yeah. Getting the stories out. That's
Mhm.
that's the most important part, and I know that's what they really enjoy here at the jail is not just getting their stories out and keeping them alive from that perspective, but also just going in and having a conversation and treating them like like they're still here and like they're human. That what happened, what they did in here is not what defines them.
We were at Eloise. It's been about a year ago, and had the spirit box on,
Mhm.
and we were joking around, laughing, and you heard this ha 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 come over it, and we started laughing. And then it said my name, and then it said my teammate Becky's name. And I've got a good story for you on that one. Later that night, before we left, we went up to the doctor and nurse's quarters.
Yeah.
We had 2 spirit boxes going to see if we got the same thing, and somebody was getting busy up there. We all were like, "Did you hear that? Yeah, is that what we think it is?" Yeah, it was, and you could tell when they were done. It got really quiet.
That's funny.
And none of us had a recorder on.
And that's probably why it did that.
Probably. But I mean, people are like, no, you didn't hear that. People will doubt you. I'm like, dang, we should have had a recorder going to be like, listen to this. But yeah, that has to be the funniest thing I've ever heard. Just, yeah.
That is awesome. Well, speaking of, we've talked about the ladies, and so just looking at the comments and stuff over here, I pulled this up a minute ago. Daryl, a lot of investigations, ladies are more in tune with the investigation more so than the man. But I want to go ahead and talk briefly about your Men of the Paranormal Convention that you have. That's going to be here this is the next one that's coming up, and it's going to be in November.
It's November 11th at Randolph County Asylum in Winchester, Indiana. If you've not been there, it's well worth the visit. Dan's the owner. I've known Dan for a very long time. We've investigated just about all his locations at least once. We did world's largest ghost hunt there the last time I participated.
Mm-hmm.
And he joined us there and at the speakeasy, and we're going to do this at one of his locations again. Randolph County, like I said, it's a place you want to check out. We're still looking for vendors. We have our speakers lined up, and Brian, if he's still on here, is going to be one.
Oh, very nice. Is
Brian,
he coming from Canada, or is he doing it virtually?
I don't know yet. We're still trying to figure that out. I am going to have Al Santoriga and Brian Bowden. Brian used to live in New York.
Okay.
And they were teammates. They're a part of the NADP too. They do it all too. Brian now lives in Florida. Al's still in New York. They're going to speak virtually together.
Oh, wow.
They're always fun to talk to. Like, I could sit and talk hours to these guys about all kinds of stuff. Like, they've had UFO, Dogman, ghost encounters. Al's actually seen an insectoid.
Wow.
What was the guy that was the serial killer? David Berkowitz in New York?
Yes, son of Sam.
Yep, he was a mailman for a long time and delivered to the building that he lived in after he was put in prison. And he said that apartment was locked up.
Wow.
And he's going to speak. Ron Murphy. My team lead so far it's a younger kid named Connor. Matt Barron and David Jones. He did the cryptid thing for a while. He's got over, good Lord, I don't know how many EVPs this man has. Like thousands of them. So he's going to be a team lead. I asked if he wanted to speak, and he's like, nope, I'll just be a team lead. I'm good. So,
Okay.
but it's a good spot. It really is. And, I had a lot of people say, well, that's not fair. That's sexist. You're having a women's event. So I had to have a men's event too. Got to balance it out.
There you go.
But that'll be November 11th here in Indiana.
Okay. And is that just the one day?
Yeah, it's just one day.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so if people want to find more information about that, what I pulled up was what you had sent, but I know I found the Facebook page. So if they just go and just search on Facebook, the Men of the Paranormal Convention,
yep,
pops right up.
And it'll be Women of the Paranormal Celebration too.
Yes, and we've got these links. If you guys go back and look at the show notes, we've got the links to those two conventions. And then let me pull up the other convention here that you've got. Let's bear with me one second. Everything seems to be running just a little bit slow here. The Lake Erie ParaFest that's going to take place in Sandusky, Ohio.
Right now, it's March 9th or 2nd. We haven't quite decided a specific date yet. But like I said, I enjoy going to the lake over in Ohio. I love Port Clinton, Sandusky area. I'm a Cedar Point fan. So.
I was going to say Cedar Point. Love Cedar Point. Used to go there all the time as a kid.
Home away from home. We've had season passes for about 4 years now. So that's our home away from home. And the last couple of times we haven't really went to the park. My daughter says, we don't do touristy things anymore, Mom. We've come here enough that we live here. So we just do things that people do that live here. We're not tourists anymore. So I thought, you know what? Why not have an event someplace I love to visit? And one day when I retire, I will have my house on the lake there. So.
And that's got to bring good energy. When you go somewhere you love, that's just going to bring good energy to the event itself.
And it's actually going to be at the Merry-Go-Round Museum, which is an old post office that's haunted.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And they say one of the original Cedar Point carousel horses, that the man who designed those, I believe the original ones are wood, that the wife is attached to the one because she loved it so much.
Oh, wow.
So
that's a cool piece of history there in and of itself.
Yeah. And there's few haunted places in the area.
Now, are you hoping to have an investigation tied to that event as well?
We are that night. So we'll have the conference during the day with speakers. And then at night, we're going to investigate the museum. Oh, and I actually am trying to get the Maritime Museum, that's about a block away, to become involved as well. Because they have a lot of historical, my alarm went off, bedtime. But they have a lot of historical items there, from shipwrecks and all sorts of things there. So it's really interesting too. And Cleveland's not too far away. Toledo's not far away. And there's a big hotel in Port Clinton that's supposed to be haunted as well.
Okay.
It's I think it was built in the 1800s.
Wonderful. So people will be able to find more information out about that if they go under Lake Erie ParaFest.
There's not a whole lot on there yet. I wanted to finish the women's event up real quick and get that. So I know the girls have been asking for it. Yeah. So I was like, okay, Chris, I'll get it done. She asked me the other day. I was like, I get it done just for you. But yeah, they've been great about promoting the women's event. I really appreciate it.
And that's what it takes is, I mean, people, these events are so much work, so much time goes into doing these right. And then, having your folks that are participating in the event, sharing it out there, reaching their connections. I mean, that's the way to do it, because we all got so many different connections that maybe, the other folks don't have. And it just reaches a wider audience that way.
And, it was last spring. I actually was a guest on a podcast out of Utah. And the ladies on there were like, oh, if I lived closer, I would come. And that's another thing about this event is that we move every year. The men's event and the women's event, I move locations every year.
Well, that's what I thought, because wasn't the women's in West Virginia?
It was supposed to have been, yeah.
Okay.
We've been to Ohio State Reformatory, and then COVID hit.
Yeah.
And then West Virginia, and COVID was still there. And then we decided to shoot for next year and move it. And then the men's event, like I said, it'll move too, because, we have ladies up in New York who can't drive all the way to Tennessee. They couldn't drive all the way to West Virginia. Some ladies wanted to come up from Florida that couldn't come. So, we move it around. So maybe one year it's closer to you.
Mm-hmm.
Or if not that year, maybe the next year. That's why we try to move it around so everybody that wants to come can come.
Yeah. And I mean, it works out great. It helps you to diversify your speakers, helps you to diversify your locations. I mean, that's a wonderful way to do it, because there are so many great women and great guys in the paranormal that are in these different regions, because paranormal is really regional when you look at it. I mean, here, even though, it is a small community, we do tend, excuse me, Sally, we do tend to have, a large group of people that know each other here in sort of the Southeast area. And then, of course, once you start to get in New England and even Virginia, I mean, they kind of have their own area. So it's great to be able to reach the different regions, if you will.
It is. I know I went on Adam Began's podcast, and they were talking about people they know up in Maine and Vermont. And I'm like, I don't know these people. So it is. It's just, it's to your area. And like, I know people I don't know a whole lot of people from Illinois, and they're my neighbor. I know some from Michigan, Ohio, on over all the way through Pennsylvania and down south. But, I didn't know many people up north or out west either, for that matter.
Yeah, and that's kind of what I'm running into with this Spirits of Deadwood, South Dakota Paracon. I'm so excited to be there, and it's going to be a perfect fit with being a biker and being out there by Sturgis. But there's not a whole lot of investigators that's there in South Dakota. And we're going to this extremely haunted town there in Deadwood that's got this reputation, but it's going to be cool to be able to expand, and meet these folks that are in this totally different region that's never heard of me, never heard of our jail, and be able to reach them and hopefully be able to bring some of those folks on over to this side. Just as I sort of hope that, I would be able to take some people here from the East Tennessee or the East Coast side on over to South Dakota to investigate there.
Yeah. And some people don't like to travel. And, that's a bad part too, is this has a lot of traveling to do in it.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
So let's talk for a few minutes about, we kind of briefly mentioned it, the global ghost hunt.
Well, this will be the second set of dates. It's October 9th. Oh, Brian will kick my ass if I say the wrong one. Uh, I know it ends the 29th. So the 19th through the 29th.
Okay.
I actually have 3 locations this time around.
Okay.
We are going to do the Fowler Theater and the Old Benton County Jail. We're going to record for it because we're going to go the 14th. But for our haunted Halloween, Cedar Point, Halloweekends, our haunted Halloween investigation we do every year for the Halloween weekend.
Okay.
We go to different locations, open up to the public. We're going to the Hinsdale House this year. So we'll be live from the Hinsdale House. That's open to the public.
Okay.
If you're a new investigator, I do not recommend coming here. If you don't know the stories about it, there was a couple exorcisms in the home. Sometimes there's some nasty spirits that come through. There's all kinds of stuff on the grounds. I had been told there was a hanging tree in the yard. That was a new one for me. I don't know. But the one gal that investigates with us, it's my best friend's daughter. I flat out told her, I said, you're not going. I said, Hinsdale House is out for you. I said, I'm not, nope. Because on our global ghost hunt live in May, she was attacked. And it was live towards the end. And something attached to her. And she was sitting there rocking. And she started screaming, don't touch me, don't touch me. And we were a good 2 feet away from her.
Wow.
And she made me go down the stairs before her. And she said, you're going to push me down the stairs if I go in front of you. And she was still yelling at her mom to quit touching her. And Cindy's like, I am not touching you. And yeah, it got bad at the end. It took me about 2 hours to get her grounded. So
Wow.
I told her, no Hinsdale House for you.
Yeah. Yeah, probably not a good idea for sure. So this one, there is like you said, there is a time frame. It's not just a day. It's a time frame. And so
10 days.
okay, and so people can either record it or they can go live. Is that kind of how that works?
Yeah, we're recording ours. There's a couple other teams that's recording, and you just send your video over. I know Palmerton Area Paranormal, that Third Eye Productions, Larissa. I think you know Larissa.
Yeah, she was on there on my show last week.
Oh, was she?
Yeah.
Yeah, they recorded Hell House and aired it during May. We're going to do that. There's a couple other teams that'll do it. And you just give them your video that you have and they'll air it.
And if anybody wants to, if anyone wants, is there still time to get involved if people want to get involved on this?
You have until September 30th. So what is that? 16 days? 30 minus 14? Yeah, 16. Yeah, I had to get the calculator out for that one. It sucks getting old. But yeah, September 30th is the deadline. And to sign up, just go to globalghosthunt.com. And there is a registration fee as well.
Okay. All right. And we've also got the links there for the Global Ghost Hunt there in the show notes. So guys, definitely go on there and check all that out. And yes, Daryl, I totally agree. People don't realize how dangerous some locations can definitely be. It's not always as calm and nice as people hope, but
Collingwood Arts Center was actually all I can think of is a monastery and a nunnery. But what was the old nuns? It wasn't a nunnery. What was the other word for it?
Convent?
Yes. And it was actually a convent. And they turned it in. It was a convent and a school. And in the basement, and you can see it in the video, there's a pentagram.
Wow.
Painted on the floor. And they covered it once. Somebody put it in there again. And we tried to get up to, they call them the nun cells, where the nuns stayed at. We never
Okay.
made it back there. We couldn't find it. The way they showed us that would be unlocked and we could go was locked up. So that was the 4th floor. Took the elevator down to the 3rd floor thinking we could get back upstairs. And we went to the end of the hall and went up a set of steps. And we were looking, and I have pictures of this. There was a triangle hanging on the wall, and then a crude drawing of, now I know what it is. It was a demon. And Catherine explained that those triangles and that pentagram together, that triangle traps those demons.
Oh, wow. Okay.
She did that live with us from Greece too, and she's going to do the Hinsdale house with us live from Greece. And yeah, when Katie came downstairs, my teammate Becky was yelling at us. She's like, "Go, go, go!" And she said somebody was running after me. And the set of steps we came down, there was a woman pushed down the steps and killed in that house.
Oh, wow.
And Katie would not go down the steps. She kept screaming, "Don't you see that man standing there?" And we're like, "What man?" Oh, it was crazy. We had to get her out of there.
Wow.
It was a crazy night. So
Wow. That and can people go back and watch those lives?
yeah, they're on Global Ghost Hunt's YouTube channel.
Okay. Okay.
Yep.
So anyone that's maybe interested in participating, go check out the Global Ghost Hunt YouTube channel. Look at some of the videos from the last one that would have been there in May, and check it out. And then get in touch with. They need to get in touch with you or get in touch with the website.
They can register, ask questions through the website. They can go to the Global Ghost Hunt Facebook page.
Okay.
They can message me and I'll give an answer or get an answer.
Okay, perfect. Perfect. And anything else we've missed? Like I said, I know you've got a lot going on. Any other events or any other things that you would like to briefly mention?
Oh, I do want to say this. For Global Ghost Hunt, we actually had 3 locations that are looking for teams.
Okay.
It's the Clown Motel out in Nevada that, everybody on earth wants to go there or has been there if they don't fear clowns. They're looking for a team to come in and investigate. There's a newer location. It's called Victorian View.
Okay.
It's an event center in Iowa. And then the Genesee Orleans Art Center. Hold on, I got it pulled up. In Batavia, New York. It's called Go Art on Facebook.
Okay.
It's in Batavia, New York.
Okay.
It's the Genesee Orleans Regional Arts Council. Yeah, I see why they say Go Art now. That's a long name. But they need a team to come in and investigate. They've signed up, the other 2 as well. I think the Clown Motel would be interesting.
Yeah, I think so too. I've seen a lot of people's videos from there, and I've heard different things. Some people I've heard the activity is just insane, and some it's just creepy being in a clown motel.
I think the old cemetery graveyard would be interesting across the road.
Uh-huh.
I do. I think I would go over there, but then again, there'd probably be rattlesnakes everywhere. So,
Right. Well, Jenn, thank you so much for taking the time tonight to come on and share all the different stuff you've got going on, as well as talk about your background in the paranormal.
Well, thanks for having me. It was fun.
Absolutely. If you'll stick around just a few minutes, I'm gonna say goodbyes, and I'll meet up with you for a few minutes and say goodbye. Is there anything else you want to mention before we go?
Nope. Everybody just have a good night. It's eclipseparanormal.com. That's where you can find all my stuff at.
Wonderful. And guys, go and check that out. Go and check eclipseparanormal.com out, and also check out some of these great events, because these events take so much time and effort and finances and everything to put together. So go on, become a vendor or go on there and just help share it out. So because if you putting the word out can always get the word to somebody else that might be interested themselves. So again, thank you, Jenn, and I hope you have a wonderful night.
You too, guys. Take care. Thank you.
Absolutely. And so again, everybody, thank you so much for tuning in here tonight. We've had a great discussion. We talked about some really cool things, everything from talking about residential cases. I mean, that's a show in and of itself, to talking about these great paracons and conventions and celebrations and such that benefit some great causes. So we do have all of that in the show notes, and also throughout the comments here. Definitely go in and check those out. Follow our content creators and our teams and our folks that are doing things, because they do really take a lot of time and effort for people to do. Just want to make sure to mention again, we are getting close to the Spirits of Deadwood event that's going to take place in Deadwood, South Dakota, September 29th and 30th. I mean, this is actually a really great deal to go and investigate these 3 locations. Just the town itself, spending the time there in Deadwood, South Dakota. I mean, this is an extremely haunted town with an amazing history. Sally will tell you all about it right here, apparently. But definitely go on there. And if you're looking for something really cool to do that's going to benefit a great cause, check out the Spirits of Deadwood. And you can also go back and you can watch our episode that we did with Jared and with Horn Paranormal, where we talked about the Sacred Mountain Retreats and what they do for our veterans, their puppy program, their equine program. Those are amazing programs that this money that we're raising from this event goes to fund for our veterans, first responders, and Gold Star families, because they do put that out there to where it is 100% funded for them, and they spend 100% of. I'm trying to think of my words. I'm having word loss tonight. They fly these veterans out there to Sacred Mountain Retreat Center, and it's at no cost to the veterans. So that's what this money goes for. So that is September 29th and 30th, and we do have the links in there. If you just go and search Sacred Mountain Retreat Center or Spirits of Deadwood, you can look under the paranormal event and go to the link to purchase tickets. Also, the Ghost Biker Weekend, Hogs and Haunts Weekend, October 14th and 15th in London, Kentucky. Tickets are going fast for that. The meet and greet is free. The motorcycle ride is free, but you do have to register for the motorcycle ride to make sure you get your patch and make sure you have a spot. If it says that the spots are all taken on October 15th, go in and reach out to myself or Wildcat Harley Davidson, and we'll make sure you do get a spot on there. And then also the investigation that's going to be October 14th, that's taking place in a cave in southeastern Kentucky. I mean, you don't get to investigate a cave very often. And this cave has never been investigated, nor will it probably be investigated again. So definitely become a reach out and go to the links there on the Eventbrite links that we did post, because we only have limited tickets for that. We're keeping the event small. Only 15 tickets will be sold. And again, the funds goes 100% to the London Laurel Shop with a Cop program. We have all that information. We will be releasing a lot of information, a lot of videos and stuff on that coming up here very soon. And then also historyhighwayshaunts.com to see the different events that we've got going on here at the historic Scott County Jail, as well as Rugby After Dark. Just looking at the comments right here. Yeah, Sally does just seem to pop right up and pop right into the conversation. She's my beautiful little co-host. So, and she is definitely a superstar. So thank you all so much for acknowledging her. And then, as Chris says, you can donate to the cause. If you cannot make it, you can donate to both Sacred Mountain Retreats as well as to the London Laurel Shop with a Cop program. On the Spirits of Deadwood, they've got buttons all over. You can either donate to the event or you can donate to each of the specific causes. You just have to click on the big old donate button that they've got up there and on the website. It's very, very easy to find. And as she says, you can donate to these if you cannot make it. So we definitely do appreciate that. And we're working on getting a live link. I do have a link for the Shop with a Cop program, but we were having issues with the live link. So we'll work on getting that here very, very soon. So again, if be on the lookout for Ghost Biker Explorations trailer that's going to be coming. We're going to have a brand new episode. Season 6 is coming out every Tuesday night during the month of October. And that's probably why I'm having issues with word loss tonight, because we've been working really, really hard to get everything put together. Everything comes down to the season here in October. So thank you guys for sticking with us through the year. And we've got a really great season planned that's coming up here in October. So be on the lookout for that, as well as a brand new episode next week with Ghost Biker Garage. And so we'll be announcing our guest here very soon on that, but stay tuned. And again, thank you guys for spending your time with us. Time is one of the most valuable things we have, and we really appreciate you spending your time with us. So until next week, hope everyone has a wonderful and blessed week. Good night, everyone.